सकता?
वन क्लिक नहीं है, इंडिविजुअली करना पड़ता है।
ओके, चलो। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 9, Dhruv Maharaj returns home, text number 37 onwards. आकर्ण्यात्मजमायान्तं सम्प्रेत्य यथागतं राजा न श्रददधे भद्रम् अभद्रस्य कुतो मम. When King Uttanpad heard that his son Dhruva was coming back home, as if coming back to life after death, he could not put his faith in this message, for he was doubtful of how it could happen. He considered himself the most wretched, and therefore he thought that it was not possible for him to attain such good fortune. So the news somehow reached Maharaj Uttanpad that Dhruv Maharaj is coming back home. And he was eagerly waiting. At first he was lamenting when Narad Muni gave him the message that Dhruv Maharaj has gone for tapasya, and that time he was thinking that how is he going to survive? Such a little boy, 5-year-old boy, in the forest, all alone by himself. But now he's like, oh, how is it possible? He's coming back, and he's very happy. Dhruv Maharaj, a 5-year-old boy, went to the forest for penance and austerity, and the king could not at all believe that a small boy of such a tender age could live in the forest. He was certain that Dhruva was dead. He therefore could not fix his faith in the message that Dhruv Maharaj was coming back home again. For him, this message said that a dead man was coming back home, and so he could not believe it. After Dhruva Maharaj's departure from home, King Uttanpad thought that he was the cause of Dhruva's leaving, and thus he considered himself the most wretched. Therefore, even though it was possible that his lost son was coming back from the kingdom of death, he thought that since he was most sinful, it was not possible for him to be so fortunate as to get back his lost son. So this is like somebody receives a treasure and he cannot believe that he received the treasure. श्रद्धाय वाक्यम देवर्षेर हर्ष वेगेन धर्षिता वार्ता हर्तुर अति प्रीतो हारम प्रादान महाधनम. Although he could not believe the words of the messenger, he had full faith in the word of the great sage Narad. Thus he was greatly overwhelmed by the news, and he immediately offered the messenger a highly valuable necklace in great satisfaction. So because the messenger brought him such a wonderful news, as a token appreciation of the message, and out of ecstasy, he gave him a highly valuable necklace as a gift, just to keep it. Sadashvam ratham aruhya kartaswar parishkritam brahmanah kul vridhascha पर्यस्तो अमात्य बंधु भी शंख दुंदु भी नादेन ब्रह्म घोषेण वेणु भी निश्चक्राम पुरा तूर्णम आत्म जाभीक्षोण उत्सुकः. Then King Uttanpad, being very eager to see the face of his lost son, mounted a chariot drawn by excellent horses and bedecked with golden filigree, taking with him many learned Brahmins, all the elderly personalities of his family, his officers, his ministers, and his immediate friends. He immediately left the city. As he proceeded in this parade, there were auspicious sounds of conch shells, kettle drums, flutes, and the chanting of Vedic mantras to indicate all good fortune. So he went out of the city to greet, to to receive Dhruv Maharaj. Dhruv Maharaj is coming back so victorious. This is a real victory because he attained the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he survived 6 months in the forest, 5-year-old boy doing austerities, penances in the forest, and he's coming back. Sunuti suruchishchasya mahishya rukma bhushite arvya shibikam sardham uttam ena avijagmatuhu. Both the queens of Uttanpad, namely Suniti and Suruchi, along with his other son Uttam, appeared in the procession. The queens were seated on a palanquin. After the departure of Dhruv Maharaj from the palace, the king was very afflicted. But by the kind words of Saint Narad, he was partially satisfied. He could understand the great fortune of his wife Suniti and the great misfortune of Queen Suruchi. For these facts were certainly very open in the palace. But still, when the news reached the palace that Dhruv Maharaj was returning, his mother Suniti, out of a great compassion, and due to being the mother of a great Vaishnava, did not hesitate to take the other wife Suruchi and her son Uttam on the same palanquin. That was the greatness of Queen Suniti, the mother of the great Vaishnava, Dhruv Maharaj. So not only Dhruv Maharaj had no more enmity or no more enviousness, no more feelings of taking revenge from his stepmother Suruchi or her son Uttam. Even Mother Suniti developed the same feelings. This is a sign of a great Vaishnava. No matter what happens, it's difficult in the sense because we are materially conditioned. We have that material mentality. But great Vaishnavas, they don't take revenge. In fact, they consider everything that is happening in their life as part of their own karma. And they consider as Krishna's mercy that Krishna has reduced the reaction of the karma. Dhruv Maharaj will read further. Not only he did not take any revenge, he gave full respect to Mother Suruchi and love to Uttam. And later on, as Lord had explained to him, your brother Uttam will go to the forest and he'll be killed there. Dhruv Maharaj went to punish the yakshas who were responsible in killing of Uttam. So another wonderful story will go on. But this is one of the great takes that we can take from here, that no revenge. Like Suniti also instructed Dhruv Maharaj when Dhruv Maharaj came running to her and Suruchi had insulted him, and she told him, do not have any negative feelings towards anybody. Great instruction. Normally, we don't see these kind of instructions from anybody. Normally, the instruction is, "Nahle pe dhalla marte hain chal ke." But this is the instruction from a Vaishnavi to a Vaishnava, to a devotee of the Lord. It's difficult. I'm not saying it's easy, but this is the natural tendency of the soul to be in complete, beyond even mode of goodness, even if not in goodness, beyond mode of goodness. And that status does not let us take revenge of any sort. Instead, rather than taking revenge, a Vaishnava not only wishes well for his so-called enemies, but he works as a well-wisher as well. That's even higher understanding. One is we remain neutral. That, okay, I'm not going to take revenge. Second is to wish him well. Okay, in the mind at least. Wish him well. Okay, whatever you did, fine, I forgive you, but I wish you well. But on beyond that is you work, if we work for his well wishing, if we work that the person who has done some kind of negative thing towards us, we work for his upliftment. That's even beyond anything else. And that is a thing that will take away the enmity from that person's heart. That will set the right example. Some people will say, oh, this is a sign of weakness. No, it's not actually a sign of weakness. To forgive is a sign of lots of strength. It takes lots of strength, guts, courage to forgive anybody. And it takes more strength, guts, courage to uplift that person. We are not talking only about, okay, if somebody slaps on one cheek, you present the other cheek. We are talking much more stronger philosophy than this. And this is what Dhruv Maharaj will show. This is what every devotee has shown from their lives in the scriptures. Whether we take from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Haridas Thakur, he was sentenced to be punished in 22 marketplaces. And his crime, what was his crime? He was born in a Muslim family, but he had become a Vaishnava, and he was chanting the holy names of the Lord, and he was preaching others to chant, to take up the holy names of the Lord. So Muslims were against him, because how come he is being a Muslim, he is chanting the Hindu names? And Brahmins were against him, that he was Muslim and he is chanting Hindu names. How is it possible? And he is preaching others to take up chanting of the holy names. Brahmins were thinking, what will happen to our business, our livelihood? But Haridas Thakur was not doing it for money. So when he was sentenced to be beaten up by Qazi was bribed by both Muslims and Brahmins to give punishment to Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur was taken to 22 marketplaces. Why the marketplaces? So others can learn that do not do this kind of act again, so you will also be punished. And the soldiers, Haridas Thakur was a very thin, simple person. And soldiers, big soldiers, heavy body and soldiers, and they were beating him, and they were not just slapping him a little bit. They were beating him with hunters, with sticks, and cursing at him, and kicking him. And people from marketplaces, they ran towards the soldier. Oh, he's a sadhu, just leave him alone. I mean, we'll pay you whatever money you want, just leave him alone. And the soldiers said, no, this is an order from Qazi that we have to beat him. And we have to kill him, actually. And they kept on beating him up in 22 marketplaces. From one marketplace, and then they take him to other one, beat him up there. Just like if you think of the Lajpat Nagar market, and then Sarojini Nagar market, and then the Connaught Place, and then the Sadar Bazaar, and whatever, Chandni Chowk area. So everybody get a message. But the surprisingly, one thing was, they got tired of beating him up. They said, nobody has lasted this beating for more than 3-4 marketplaces. And we are like at the 22nd marketplace, and you're not dying. And rather, you're looking at us very compassionately. Why are you doing that? They were completely confused. Who is this? Then they did realize he must be a big Sufi, son, saint. Otherwise, nobody can survive. And then he was looking at them compassionately, wishing them well. And then in the end, when they got tired of beating him up, they said, if you don't die, Qazi will kill us. Haridas Thakur said, oh, this is a problem? My living is a problem? So what you do is you pick me up and throw me in the Ganges. And I'll just hold my breath and you go tell Qazi that I died. And this is what they did. And Haridas Thakur, what he did? He held his breath for some time in Ganges. He floated for a while. And then he swam across and came back to the same village where he was sentenced to be beaten up. And the Qazi and all the soldiers, they were completely dumbfounded. Who is this great man? And then they fell at his lotus feet and begged for forgiveness. Their hearts completely changed. And Haridas Thakur, later on, some people, devotees asked him, why you didn't retaliate or say anything? How come you were beaten up in 22 marketplaces for no fault of yours? He said, no, I was beaten up. I was given punishment because I heard these people derogating the holy name of the Lord. They were saying so many things against the holy names, and I was listening to them. And that was my crime. That's why I was punished. That's Haridas Thakur. And I had once talked about this Mahaprakash Leela when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revealed his feature of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he was giving benedictions to all the devotees. And when Haridas Thakur was called, Mahaprabhu reminded him of this incident. And he said, Haridas, when you were being beaten up in those marketplaces by those wretched soldiers, I was standing right there with my Sudarshan Chakra. I was going to kill them. But my Sudarshan Chakra was not leaving my hand because you were forgiving them all the time. You kept on forgiving those soldiers. So my even Sudarshan Chakra was incapable of doing anything. So Mahaprabhu then explained that, well, I could not kill them, but I covered your body with mine, and I took all the beatings on my back. I did not let you suffer. And Mahaprabhu showed the marks of those beatings on his back to Haridas Thakur. So this is the greatest example that if we show compassion to others, if we become merciful to others, Krishna is there to help us. Krishna will be there, always be there to help us. Vaishnavas, that's why Vaishnavas are called Pardukhe Dukhi. But we can say if somebody is doing something negative against us, how come he's in distress? He's in distress because a person who's completely happy, satisfied, he will not commit these kind of things. A person who's undergoing lots of mental tribulations, or we can only imagine the status of his mind if somebody commits anything wrong against anybody. I mean, how depleted his energy is, his mental situation must be. And I mean, from pranic healing perspective, we can scan his bodily aura. And that person must be in complete negative aura, must be having complete negative aura, completely depleted. So that person needs more compassion actually. More help he needs. It's just like if somebody is physically handicapped, or maybe he's sick or hurting and he cannot walk or move properly, then we develop some compassion and we want to help that person because his physical body is not proper. He's situated. He's depleted. What if somebody is mentally not properly situated? Then we should show more compassion towards him. And definitely, if somebody is not spiritually situated properly, we should show more compassion towards him. So the people who wants to do wrong against somebody else, or commit crimes, or speak negatively about somebody, or be envious of somebody, or become angry also, that they are very much depleted mentally, emotionally. So they need lots of compassion, lots of help at that time. Instead of we become revengeful, and so we will multiply that negative energy in them. Of course, we will be negatively situated, and the other person is also negatively situated. So what will happen there? The angers will flare and more fights will happen. That's all that will happen. So one idea is, if somebody is committing any such things, one idea is, okay, depending upon our mental situation, either we leave that place. Okay, fine. But yes, better than that is to work towards helping that person. And this is what is expected of Vaishnavas, because we are in the training period, we are training session right now. We are trying to be Vaishnavas. So this is what is expected, and if we do more and more and more of these reciprocations, Krishna will definitely be very happy. Prabhupada will be very happy. So text 42-43. Tam drishtvopavanabhyasya ayantam tarsarathat avruya naripas turnam asadya prema vipala parirebhe angajam durbhyam dirgotkantamanashvasan vishwaksenangri sansparsha hata sheshagabandhanam. Upon seeing Dhruv Maharaj approaching the neighboring small forest, King Uttanpad with great haste got down from his chariot. He had been very anxious for a long time to see his son Dhruva, and therefore with great love and affection he went forward to embrace his long-lost boy. Breathing very heavily, the king embraced him with both arms. But Dhruv Maharaj was not the same as before. He was completely sanctified by spiritual advancement due to having been touched by the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So from deep inside the forest of Madhuvan, he walked out in the small forest and then the city of Bittur, where the king Uttanpad was there. So they both met outside the city near the neighboring small forest, and Uttanpad embraced him with his arms, and he wanted to embrace, and he wanted to welcome his son. For a long time he hadn't seen, for 6 months. But now Dhruv Maharaj had changed. He was completely sanctified. Athad jigran muhur murdhani sheetar nayan varibhi snapyamas tanayam jatodam manoratha Reunion with Dhruv Maharaj fulfilled King Uttanpad's long cherished desire, and for this reason he smelled Dhruva's head again and again and bathed him with torrents of very cold tears. By nature's way, when a man cries, there may be two causes. When one cries in great happiness upon the fulfillment of some desire, the tears coming forth from the eyes are very cold and pleasing, whereas tears in times of distress are very hot. So same tears, same eyes, but different mood will bring out either cold or hot tears. So these tears were cold tears because Maharaj Uttanpad was very happy to find his son Dhruv, back again in the kingdom, and he was all okay, and he was spiritually so uplifted. So we'll stop here. See anybody have any questions or comments, and tell me how's your reaction to Google Meet. Is the sound okay? Everything is okay? You have
Krishna,
to, you have to
what is
unmute
the-
yourself.
Should I unmute everyone?
Yes,
Hare
sir.
Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Danvat Pranam. Prabhuji,
Hare
good
Krishna.
experience first day.
Good, good. Thank you.
Hare
I have
Krishna,
a
Prabhuji.
I have a question to ask, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
What was the real name of Haridas Thakur?
Oh, I haven't read that anywhere.
Okay.
I haven't read that.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, the experience was really good, but just one thing is missing, which was there in Zoom, and the swapping mode. You know, like you can, like it's all who all are there, who all joined, and you see it on the partial, you know, on the corner of the screen, right hand side.
Yeah.
Let's suppose who is speaking and all. So you can. Zoom has that feature, which is missing here, but rest of the things are really good.
So we can compile all the set of questions or comments and send it to Sundar Pichai and to ask him to get it fixed.
I have sent this question, Prabhuji, on the app comments. That why don't you implement this?
Yeah, sure. Whatever we think it should be there.
It's already there. In the we have.
Pichai is busy in implementing the projects in India.
Of course, he's not himself going to do it. He's going to get somebody from India to fix it.
Prabhuji, that feature is already there. You can see who is speaking.
No, but Prabhuji, it's on the right hand side. It's like a pane which you see on the right hand side.
Yes.
It's
no,
not
there is-
visible across on the entire screen.
I got you. Okay. So in Zoom, that person actually comes in this.
Exactly.
Actually, if you click the three dots, there is a change layout option. There you can select the spotlight. Then it will work as you guys are expecting.
Can you recap that? Rephrase again, Prabhuji.
Sure, let me present. Okay, so here we have these three dots. If you are able to see my screen, and so here we have these three dots, and if you see here, there is a change layout option. You select this, and you have to select the spotlight. So whoever will be speaking will be on the center of your screen, as in the
Okay.
things are already there. Just we need to learn like how it is configured.
Yeah, I need to look around.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as Prabhuji said, we can compile the questions and we can see if we can if that feature is already available.
So which feature we have to select is spotlight.
Right.
Layout.
Yeah. Here in the change layout, you have to select this spotlight.
Yeah, got it.
Spotlight. Okay.
Spotlight.
Change layout and then whatever.
Right, good. We have so many features in this also. So it is a very good experience, new experience. I think we will like this Google Meet soon.
And obviously cheaper experience than Zoom.
You can buy
Yes,
like for 4 months, 4 years. You can buy for the same price.
4 times.
Yeah.
That's even better. Okay, so you all have a wonderful and safe day. Hare Krishna. Thank you.